Muy buenos días. En menos de un minuto comenzamos. Todos se están incorporando, todavía está llegando gente, entonces en un momentito comenzamos. ¿Ya todos listos? Ya vamos a comenzar. Pues muy buenos días. En lo que todavía hay algunos otros que están entrando y siendo las 9:03, comencemos hoy La primera semana hoy culmina del encuentro creativo, pero todavía nos falta una entera. Y pues para ir calentando motores vamos a ver unas palabras precisamente en la sociedad Dante Alighieri.
Ciao e benvenuto alla Sociedad Dante Alighieri de la Ciudad de México. ¿Estás pensando ir a estudiar a Italia? Nosotros te ayudamos a realizar tu sueño. Descubre cómo obtener el nivel requerido para la admisión en las universidades italianas. Estudia y certifícate con nosotros. Tenemos cursos de todos los niveles, desde el más básico hasta el más avanzado. Y además podrás escoger entre una amplia variedad de horarios y entre la modalidad en línea y presencial. Hoy en día, el conocimiento de más de un idioma extranjero es fundamental para ser competitivo en el mercado laboral. Y poder demostrar tu nivel de conocimiento con una certificación puede marcar la diferencia entre tu perfil y el de otro candidato. Ven a conocer el PLIDA, la certificación de idioma italiano reconocida internacionalmente y ante la SEP. Y comprueba tu nivel de italiano para acceder a las universidades de tu interés. Prepárate con la institución de la enseñanza del italiano más antigua en México y obtén las herramientas para construir tu futuro. Italia y la Sociedad Dante Alighieri te esperan. Arrivederci.
Bueno, pues como una iniciativa de la Embajada de Italia a través del excelentísimo señor Luigi De Chiara, de la Cámara de Comercio Italiana con su presidente Lorenzo Vianello y de la directora Fariba Gallardo, es que estamos haciendo el encuentro creativo y precisamente por ello unas palabras de bienvenida.
Soy Luigi De Chiara, embajador de Italia en México. Soy muy feliz de presentar Encuentro Creativo con la presentación de la oferta formativa de estas instituciones académicas en el campo de las industrias creativas italianas. Queremos ofrecer a todos los mexicanos no solo la posibilidad de mejorarse de un punto de vista técnico, sino también de saber dónde van las tendencias, cómo se ha construido el éxito del Made in Italy.
En la Cámara de Comercio Italiana en México estamos honrados de poder promover la oferta académica italiana entre los estudiantes mexicanos. Durante la primera edición, en las 2 semanas del evento, tuvimos más de 2.000 alumnos participantes y logramos un alcance en redes sociales de más de 1 millón de personas. Este proyecto nos brinda la oportunidad de acercar México a Italia, 2 naciones amigas y que tienen muchísimo que ofrecer en materia de creatividad y diseño. Disfruten de todas las actividades que hemos planeado en coordinación con las mejores universidades de diseño que hay en Italia y junto con las marcas que nos apoyan en esta iniciativa.
Bienvenidos a esta segunda edición de Encuentro Creativo, que te permitirá conocer más acerca de la oferta académica que la capital de la moda y el diseño ofrece, Italia. Por favor, síguenos a lo largo de las conferencias de Encuentro Creativo. Muchísimas gracias y bienvenido.
Como todos los días se les solicita a todos que mantengan su micrófono apagado, entonces la presente sesión se dará a cabo en inglés y al final, por supuesto, tendremos una ronda de preguntas que ustedes mismos pueden ir apuntando a lo largo del chat y que le haremos llegar a nuestro potente. Hoy tenemos el gusto de contar con Mauro Minutilla, consultor estratégico y formador, licenciado en Ciencias Políticas por Luis Guido Carli en Roma, especialidad en estudios internacionales con maestría en desarrollo económico, del sector terciario avanzado. Cuenta con más de 25 años de experiencia en las áreas de consultoría, estrategia, desarrollo organizacional y comunicación. Se ha desarrollado como gerente, administrador y consultor, capacitador en mercado web y digital, bancario, financiero, alienta a grupos de proyectos, empresas y redes temporales de empresas en la elaboración de contenidos y estrategia para la presentación de licitaciones a grandes eventos. Desde el 98 tiene su estudio Minutilla, estrategia de comunicación en marketing con sede en Roma y cofundador del Expo Group en una red empresarial especializada en acompañar empresas e instituciones en procesos de transformación cultural, digital y organizacional. Hoy nos va a estar hablando de los principales eventos internacionales y la importancia de la creatividad, el caso de Italia en la Expo 2020 Dubai y en el G20 en Italia. Entonces, pues es un gusto tener hoy a Mauro. La sesión procederá en inglés. And thank you very much, Mauro. All the mic is yours.
Mauro, I think that the microphone is off, so you can activate it, please.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Good morning to everybody. Thank you, Gustavo, for that introduction, and thank you to the institution Camera Italia Mexico for that invitation to give me that very important opportunity to stay with you this morning. I would like to talk about two experiences that I had in the past, last year, in two big events, largely international events, from a perspective, an Italian perspective, because I had two different charge for Expo 2020 Dubai. I was for 6 months, I was head of communication and media and web. And for the second one, the G20 held in Italy under the presidency, the Italian presidency, I was in charge of communication manager for a network of event agency that manage 3 important events in Catania, in the South Italy, in the agenda of the events for the G20. Let's move about the introduction. What's the goals of this webinar? We talk about a new perspective from inside. It's not theoretical. It's not a webinar about technicality, about communication, but my point, my opinion, my view is to share with you the experience, the best practice, what we do, what we did about this kind of events from the Italian perspective, and about a use of creativity, a use of strategy and communication in 2 different kind of events. Let's move about to tell some notes about the G20 and Expo, the World Expo. They are 2 different events. Obviously, the G20 is a meeting of head of countries, the governments, and they took place every year in every country. That last year in 2020, in 2021, it was for the first time in Italy, and it was a big event. But it was in the same period and after period of pandemic situation, COVID-19. It was a very big problem. It's a big situation because all the projects started at the beginning and before the pandemic situation, and then the event started on pandemic situation. For example, the first meeting, the first meeting of the Ministry of Tourism was held in a virtual situation. But the event that we managed was the first one meeting in presence in Italy after 1 year of pandemic situation, a very challenging situation for us and for everybody. Let's go, if you can go, let's move to the slide. Yes. We talk about, I told about communication and creativity in two cases, sharing experience and best practice. We go, please go away or manage some notes about the World Expo and the G20. Something is changing in the meaning of this kind of large international events, because the one element is more important, because the stakeholder, first of all, the decision makers, the countries, the company, corporates, citizens, consumers, and all the institutions. In that way, the real things, the real meaning of that international events, that now the relevance of these large international events is grow a lot, because they are increasingly in the meaning of influences of how they, I would say, they have resonance not only globally, but have resonance in the normal life, in their life of each one, and they deal with the issues and questions very important for the economics, for the health, for the culture, for many thematic, many topics, and the decisions that are taken this kind of place a lot of influences over our life for all the countries, all the people, all the citizens. In specific way, we talk about the first phases of the Expo 2020 Dubai, because I deal with the first phase for the launch of the pavilion and the launch of the strategy about the first step of the roadmap to go to Dubai, and for the second one event, I talk about the long procedure, the long process before the event, before the G20, and then about the event held in Catania, about the meeting of the ministers of the education and the meeting of the ministers of the labor. What is why the communication is important? Because the communication is growing in terms of value. In terms of value, we go, if you move in all slides, 12 slides, the importance of communication is grew, because all the decision influences of people and on target audience, and then the role of the decision of the media is growing up, and all the things, all the actions, all the decision an echo more big, more wide in each country. Let's start from the experience about Expo 2020 Dubai, because the important situation in that large event was about the startup of the communication, startup of the strategy. What we found at the beginning was when we start to work as in charge of head of communication, we found a strategy that themes about Italy, about the strategy to participate at Expo 2020 Dubai, and the brand. That was the brief, I would say. It was all the elements we had to start up in this large event. What is the point? What was the challenge? Is to build up to all the elements, all the tools, all the action about this kind of events. And we have to find a new solution about an evolution of the brand and to an evolution of yes, if you go away just a little bit, or just have a control of the slide, follow the presentation. At the beginning, we have to improve 3 steps, very important for the startup of the project. How to participate with. That means about the strategy, about the tools, about the communication we have to build. Second time, about the launch of the pavilion, because the launch of the pavilion was a very boost for all the communication, because the participation in a World Expo means a building of a pavilion, and all the actions, all the events, all the communication strategy about the launch and what happens inside the pavilion and inside of the side of the city that hosts the Expo. Third area was about the partnership with the companies, about the partnership with all the institutions and the organizations that give us the support to express and to extend and develop the meaning and the concept, the Italy participation in the Expo 2020. The concept, the participation of the creative concept, the strategic concept was beauty connect people. That was a very important concept, a very important expression that we have to develop, what to decline in all the material, all the actions at the beginning. What does it mean? Beauty connects people for us. What was the expression of the for us? Beauty is not an aesthetic, only in a culture or something about an external situation. For an Italian concept, for a creativity concept that we developed in all the tools, all the actions, means a code of competences, of abilities, and in terms of, we say saper fare. That for us means how to talk, how to express, the knowing how to do in every action, in every event, in every situation, in every tool of communication that we build. In that way, for us, it is to ability to do beautiful and useful things that improve people's life and change. This is the meaning for us, is the concept of beauty for us that we try to express and develop in all the strategy for the Italy Pavilion and from the strategy that follow the launch of the Italy Pavilion. If you go away, let's move to the presentation, please. We can see the brand of the participation, of Italy participation to the Expo 2020 Dubai. Please move away. Thames. Yes, this is the concept about beauty. I try to explain the Italian model of integration, harmonization, collaboration, creativity for us. In terms of multidisciplinarity and the intersectorial competence and the beauty that connect people as a code of a true essence of the people Italian, the culture Italian, the story of the Italian. If you go away, please, we want to explain, I would like to show the brand of the Italy participation at Expo 2020 Dubai, and then the launch of the pavilion. It was a very boost for us because it was very innovative pavilion in terms of aesthetic, in terms of structure, in terms of essence, and in terms of meanings. Because it was a project of circular economy, it was a project of innovative materials, and mainly it was a project of network of the companies and the innovation for a sponsorship, technical sponsorship from many companies, many institutions, many regions that give a lot of support, a lot of ideas and actions and events to show what means for Italians, what means for Italy, the concept of beauty that connects people. That was the focus. I would like to show, if you go away, something about the communication, the material, the brand image, about the brand, the Italian brand. Please go away to show. This is okay. This is the first one image that we gave to the press, to the media, to launch the pavilion. Please go away. And it was very 3 halls that cover, and it was a very not unusual way to present a pavilion. And all the material was completely innovative in the meaning. Let's go away. Oh, okay. Please stop here. A way to transform, to move in the way more gentle, more innovative, was the use of the illustration in terms of creativity. That was a very good point, a very good choice, because we choose to use the illustration technicality and to represent, to design many tools and many subject and many thematic in terms of communication, and the use of illustration was very, very high, and we can find all the elements on the website, on the social media, in the many communication channel. We can find a lot of illustration design that follow the launch and the campaign, the underline, the way to show Italian communication strategy in Exposition 2020 Dubai in Expo. If we go away, we can. Yes, this is another way to use in terms of creativity, the illustration, and to find some elements in the history and the culture in Italian, and to follow in 2 levels. One level is innovative, circular economy, and all the things that we can show the innovation inside on the strategy, or Italian strategy to participate to Expo 2020 Dubai. But in the same time, we use some technical, some methods, and in terms of communication, the creativity, linked to our story, our culture, our way to, and our heart, obviously, in that way. Please go away. This is a texture. Goes away very fast, please. It wasn't a texture to move. This is the brand identity from our logo. So identity we have to build up. Please go away to show. And this is, for example, because we start with the pictogram, no? 2020, it was our brand. And we found some roots in the past in the art. We invent, for example, this kind of campaign. Italy is moving towards, yes, from this kind of representation, this kind of idea. We found a solution to to give a new effect of in terms of fast, in terms of innovation, and etc. Go away, please. Italy is moving towards Expo 2020. It was a declination of the brand in terms of innovative, creativity. Please go away to show other. This is the website, and you can find online. And I would like to show you a video that represents all the things that I tell you in terms of creativity, in terms of the use of the illustration, the use of the image, the use of the meaning for us. What does mean beauty? What does it mean beauty connect people, and in the pavilion and in the journey that pavilion from Italy to buy. If you go away, yeah, please. This is a video we can find obviously on social platform that show how we interpret this kind of journey life.
Pensa all'arte, eredità delle tante culture del Mediterraneo. Pensa alle meraviglie dei territori d'Italia.
Mauro, maybe we can go ahead with the presentation and then show the video.
Okay. I have to launch, or to launch or we continue. Oh, yeah. Sorry, if the video you can have maybe the video on the chat. Yes. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Pensa all'arte, eredità delle tante culture del Mediterraneo. Pensa alle meraviglie dei territori d'Italia, al talento e alla competenza di donne e uomini che guardano al futuro. È la bellezza che unisce le persone. L'Italia viaggia verso Dubai. Expo 2020, la prima esposizione universale nel mondo arabo. Verso l'Oriente e poi un'architettura aperta e leggera che parla di bellezza e di creatività. Immagina 3 alte navate, una nuova visione tra tecnologia e natura, sostenibilità ed economia circolare. Immagina un luogo accogliente ed energetico. Un cuore vivo e generativo di nuove scoperte e connessioni. Un'oasi di esperienze, di memorie e di emozioni. Nel cuore di Expo 2020. È la bellezza che unisce le persone. È il Padiglione Italia. Storia di un futuro che esiste già. Il viaggio inizia dallo sguardo, che dall'alto si apre verso l'orizzonte. Incontra il Belvedere, luogo da cui si vede il bello. Ambiente dedicato alle vedute incantevoli dei territori d'Italia, alla loro varietà e infinita ricchezza. Ammira la bellezza del saper fare a regola d'arte, le sue piccole e grandi storie di talento e creatività. esplora la volontà di chi innova, la bellezza dietro al desiderio di chi sfida l'infinità dello spazio, la profondità delle acque, l'incontro tra tecnologia e natura per difendere la vita che verrà. Ritorna infine all'origine di tutto, la memoria, madre delle arti e delle scienze, teatro del sapere, armonia del bello e del buono, del vero e del giusto. La bellezza unisce le persone.
It was obviously a concentration of many ideas about design, about design, about elements, graphic, illustration, video, all things in that video. You can see all the strategy translate in a video perfectly represent how we intend beauty connect people and the way of the Italy pavilion. The next video that we can say or we can give in the chat is about Gabriele Salvadore. Said very important video because that video means about saper fare, means about knowing how to do and explore what does mean for us this kind of concept that follow with they explain the Italy participation at Expo 2022 by and the Italy pavilion. If you have time, it was great to see because it's another way to intend to explore that. Gabriele Salvatore is a famous director and famous for us maybe because our link he has a link with Mexico because one of the movies about Puerto Escondido that this is in the as an Oscar about for a Mediterranean movie in the past. I think it's a piece of art, this kind of video that show exactly what does mean saper fare for the Italy participation, for Italy code obviously this is a great video. But let's move to G20, another important international events. Here the situation was very different because this project started at the beginning as a long bid process. It was very different because the event was at the end or in the middle of the process. At the beginning, we start about the tender because the process of the tender, the design of the project to participate to the tender was very complicated, very long, and the preparation about all the documents, it was a big challenge to win the competition, because the tender for us, it wasn't a competition. For the first time, I was in charge as a public officer for that prospective, I was as consultant for Next, also the agency Next, and to participate for this kind of bid tender. Well, this is the process. There's two lines in this process. One line is the tender process. The other line is the events, true events, and many events inside of the agenda of the G20. Please, let's move to explain. It's a very complex project because we have to manage about many stakeholders in terms of governments, because our client was the governments, the delegation, because G20 is about 35 delegations from all the world. Well, 20 official and all the 15 delegations from international organizations, other countries, etc. Mexico is one. Mexico is one of the country of the 20 local authorities, because all the events in many cities in Italy, that means many local authorities, many territories, many security managers, field operation teams, media, supply, citizen. Well, very complex situation. What was the challenge? The challenge is to manage this kind of complexity and to narrow, to give a storytelling in terms of preparation of the project. That is at the beginning, in terms of the startup of the project and the presentation to win this kind of bid. Please, let's move on. Yes, the relevance of the documents that let us to win this kind of bid. In terms of content, there are two kind of areas. One area is technical. It's about the design project, the service offering. The weight of this kind of is 80%. The second is about economics. What does it mean to work in terms of communication in the preparation and the design of a public tender? Please move on, and I want to show what does it mean to organize. Is to have to manage the brief in terms of location. For us, for example, was Catania and the Benedictine Monastery was the topic. Two different minister unions, meetings, ministers of education and meeting of minister of labor, and the third, a joint session between both. And the communication, we have a brand and a symbolic image, and we have to build up all the setup and the communication for that event in Catania. This was the location, a very amazing location in Catania. It is a monastery, Benedictine monastery, a building of 600. It was unfit for many reasons to host this kind of event. That was the problem. Not only unfit for many reasons, for many standards, but it was a problem because for the pandemic situation, we can see the location only a couple of months, 1 month and a half before the event, and until the end we didn't know if the event will take place or not. It was very challenge situation. Please go away. Let's move to, this was the concept. We have just the brand, the G20, very simple, very classic, and this kind of image about Uomo di Vitruvio, and stop. We didn't have nothing. But the indication, the brief was to try to find a solution to represent the identity of the country, identity of the cities that where the events will take place. That way, our idea was to do a search, to analyze about that. And if you please go away from the slide, we show something. This was the list of tools and activities we have to deal with, they manage. Setup of location targets, side events and convenient moments, gifts for the head of delegation, official lunch, dinner, evening events, media relation kit, video, work programs, delegates folder, and etc. And kit process and all other things. This is a very long list of the activities and tools. Please. Large format, it was a challenge because the place needs a large format for this kind of events. And we tried, we did this kind of the use of this communication, but the very idea was about to use a new concept about creativity. Please move on, and we show, well, this. To represent, to show better the city of Catania and the two important meetings about education ministry, the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Labor, we found a solution, a creative solution, starting from the flags, starting from the identity of the countries that take place and as members of the G20. And we found another kind of roots in our culture, in a specific way, and Sicilian ceramics and the culture of this kind of craftsmanship. And we found this solution because we needed a solution for the gift, and we needed to set up the walls of the Benedictine monastery, and we need an idea to try to find something of original, innovative to do. And then with this kind of combination, we found two solutions important. Please go away. From one side, we built this kind of gift, important gift, about ceramic used the Etna stone. It was a very great search because we found a lot of information, information from the local artists, from the local experience about this kind of culture of ceramic, but we linked the Etna stone with the colors of each flag, and we built this kind of gift mixed between the culture and identity from each members with our culture in terms of story of ceramics. This was the gift and the representation or the identity and culture, the storytelling from our identity. It was a very great idea because it was very welcome from the head of delegation that receives this kind of gift at the end of the event. Second time, this kind of creativity ideas give us the opportunity to set up the walls of the many places, the many locations that used for the event. And it was important because we give a way to indicate something local, something very linked to the to our region, our field. In the second, this is the go way. We show all the things about the. Yes, this is was the ceramic plate and ceramic. I put one about Mexico to show the colors that we use to create for each one country as different. A different piece of art, because it was a creation about an artist, a local artist with the Etna lava stone. This will go away, please. This is the way they set up the different areas with this kind of creativity, because we need, for example, to set up the corridors, because we have not the space for each delegation. It was a great idea to transform the big corridors in the space and private space with this kind of design and ideas. Please move on. Yes, this is. Please stop 1 moment, please. After to launch this video. This was another challenge, because the two minister meetings give us the brief to do a video about the event in the education and the working area, in the labor thematic. It was a very challenge, because the video, the institutional video, it was very short, and the brief tell us to use the first part, more or less 50% of the image of the music, but the other 50% or 50% has to be a mix of a thematic, a concept between two different ministers, completely not integrated. And it was a very, very, very big challenge to find a solution in terms of images, in terms of strategy, in terms of messages, to put in 50 seconds, in 1 minute of video, and to give good service, a good message for both ministers. Well, this is the result, and it was a very success for us. What has been implemented in this event? Managing early on and to anticipate all the problems at the beginning, try to enhance the set of communication tools, because sometimes that we found not was enough, not was deeply in terms of standard, in terms of the opportunity. We have to invent, we have to create, we have to try solutions for the communication, and telling a story starting from local identities and tradition. It was another way to put on the table, put on the center of the communication something towards local, not only globally, not only international, as obviously the G20. In that case, we talk about something about a test, about something about the local Catania, about the local ministry of the thematic, the topic about labor, and the thematic about education. How you see the video from the second part is a mix of image about health situation, about education situation, about innovative job, and etc. Another way is this life cycle of the event is changed because we start to analyze what were the experience. Because one of the points important in terms to participate in this kind of process for the international bid, for the bid, the tender, is to narrow, to show how the experience, the best practice that the agency, for example, has. This is one very, very important point. Sometimes the design of the project have to find the roots on the good experience, but not only the experience the past as every agency has, but in the reanalyze, rewriting in terms of functional writing, the CV, the competences, the stories, the best experience, and to reformulate, to rewriting in terms of scope, thematic for the event on the stage. That was the word, the job, very very challenging, but to a lot of satisfaction. Please move away. The last one. Yes, I would like to show here as the last one video. What does it mean for us to participate, to build this kind of event in Catania? And we back in that movie in a link. It's a strange link, but in reality, the link is to talk about knowing how to do il saper fare italiano. That video, thank you to Next to give me that video, show exactly what does it mean for us to build, to organize the event in Catania for the G20. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mauro. It was quite interesting and very, very illuminating about everything about the Italian participation. In the forum, there are certain concerns about Mexico and the World Fairs, so I'm going to answer them, and then, por favor, si alguno de ustedes tiene una pregunta, hágala llegar inmediatamente, and then if we have some questions from the audience, we will have it, all right? De las ferias internacionales es un suceso que más o menos pasa aproximadamente, o sea, la anterior del 2020 Dubái había sido en Milán 2018 y la anterior en Shanghai 2010. Entonces, resulta que más o menos pasa X tiempo, pero no es que haya una fecha exacta de cuánto está pasando. El primer antecedente es la Gran Feria del Palacio de Cristal de 1851 en Londres, y de hecho, a partir de ahí ha habido una multitud de ferias mundiales que siempre lo que han intentado es mostrar en qué lugar está el avance de la humanidad en cuanto a ciencias, artes, industrias, etcétera. Entonces, desde que la reina Victoria la fundó, esto ha sido el objetivo, y de hecho, pues México ha participado en muchas de las ferias, ya desde el siglo XIX, y por todo lo que se hace cuenta que en los 20s, 30s, la Feria de París en 1900, donde se inaugura la Torre Eiffel, México había participado con sus pabellones aztecas, y en tiempos de Peña Nieto, México tuvo un tamal, era un edificio tamal en la Feria de Milán, que era acerca de la alimentación, y posteriormente ahorita en Dubái tuvimos una participación no tan planeada como la de Italia que nos acaba de mandar Mauro, o sea, la nuestra fue intempestiva porque estaban en que sí se podía, no se podía, hasta que Ebrard dijo, pues sí se puede y puso un pabellón, pero esto fue de último momento. Entonces, eso es básicamente la participación de México en las ferias. En la de 2010, que se acabó haciendo en Shanghai, concursó Querétaro, pero no quedó. Entonces, nunca ha habido una feria mundial en México. Entonces, para cómo vamos, pues, quién sabe si lo veamos, pero este es el asunto. ¿Alguno de ustedes tiene alguna pregunta para Mauro Minutilla? ¿Alguna inquietud? Everybody was saying that it was very good to see the videos. So now we have a question. Regina Bern, when it comes to this kind of events, how would you recommend managing complicated political contexts that exist with some countries?
Sorry, I don't hear you, Gustavo.
They are writing the questions there in the chat, so I read it. One of the, it was the.
Sorry, I didn't. Okay, now I open the chat.
So if you also read it, you will know what do they are asked.
Does the COVID restriction? Does the COVID restriction have consideration now at all the public?
I was asking you the one before that of the COVID.
When it comes to this kind of events, I would recommend managing complicated political contexts existing in some countries. Yeah, sure. You come into managing complicated. Yes, absolutely. It was a long process, and we had a lot of problems because the process it was long. In the middle, it was a pandemic, and the complex is not only about the process, about the tender. It was only about the events, because we didn't know the date, we didn't know the startup, we didn't know if the event was had to be in presence or mixed on virtual. It was a very stressful situation, stressful condition for us. And every time, the management of the time, the management of the solution, it was the, because we have to find many solutions for many directions and many plan A, B, C, because we didn't know exactly what's happened in 1 month, 2 months. It was a very challenge condition, but it was great for us to do this kind of experience as a staff, obviously. It was great. Up to yeah, in the what great. Oh, thank you. How to create a cultural design as a country? Yes, we try to do that. We try to do, because in the international events, sometimes what's happened that they give us a brand, an image, something. We have not much more to use. For us, it was a challenge. It was a new idea to create a brand image of the city, because we want to show, because we have to do the events, a couple of events, 3 events in Catania, and then we try to give some news in terms of creativity, because this kind of international event as G20 is very institutional, so very basic in terms of it's not is not a World Expo, obviously, where there is an explosion of creativity from every country. In the institutional event, the request is to be so low profile, no, institutional. What was our idea? To give something more in terms of culture, heritage, in terms of roots in our culture, and it was accepted, and it was a very great experience. It was not easy to have the approbation of this kind of project.
Everybody is saying, I want to congratulate you for your work.
Thank you to everybody. Thank you.
It was quite compelling for everybody to see this developing, of course, of Italy, with the made in Italy and the culture of design, how can will be portrayed in a World Fair exhibition. And now certainly we have the horizon of in the 2025, there will be the Osaka Kansai World Fair Expo. So I'm quite sure now Italy will see to the future, towards the future, with another pavilion. That could be possible. You are already know if this is going to be in preparation.
Not at the moment. I don't because I'll say I'm busy for other projects, because it's another thing. Every time change the team, every time change the organization about that. For that reason, sometimes we work for a project and then we change, because every public tender and every organization move, and new base, new structure. This is the point. I know it will be a great participation, sure, because I know some people that work there, and because I knew it's a new challenge, because every time we have to find a new challenge, a new idea, a new innovation. It's not easy for a World Expo. Yes. It's more easy to find a new solution in the institutional event, because the structure is not basic, but the elements is not much. No? But for a World Expo, it's so complicated to find a new idea, a new way, a new project. It's a very great competition between countries, between pavilions. A lot of pavilions very great and to buy too, as the Italians. Italians had a lot of visitors. I think 1 million of visitors in the pavilion, and it was a winner for competition. But I don't follow the events at the pavilion inside. I worked for the launch of the pavilion the first month of the project. It was at the beginning. After a lot of idea, a lot of project, but at the beginning we start with the simple elements, and we have to create the strategy for the launch of this kind of journey to go to Dubai. It was great, because I say to work in the starting situation, in the starting step. Is a big challenge in terms of competence, in terms of creativity, in terms of participation. The staff was 7 or 8 people. After many resources, many people, obviously, but at the beginning, very short staff to create all the elements in the communication field, obviously, because it was my charge in terms of engagement step, the starting the roadmap.
All right. Thank you very much, Mauro. I think it was a very good session. So I want to say thank you once again from the Italian embassy, and to the privilege of share your knowledge with us. So thank you very much.
Thank you to you. Thank you to you. Thank you.
Inspiration for all our students. So now we will see a little video. Y una cosa fundamental es que tenemos que agradecerle a todos nuestros patrocinadores, entre ellos Datuzzi Italia, Esilor Luxótica, Artemide, Bulgari, Alfapar, Ferrari, Davide Groppi, United Colors of Benetton, Yamamay, Seña, Fernet Branca, Smeg, Cartel, Ferrero, Orfe México, Amoretti Brothers y por supuesto a las universidades tanto en México como en Italia que hacen esto posible. Nos vemos en la siguiente sesión y muchísimas gracias a todos. Muchas gracias, Mauro. Tanti auguri.
Grazie, arrivederci. Grazie a tutti voi.
Arrivederci.